In this video we'll learn about another type of variables that we assign inside a class, which we call the static variables. If you are coming from C++ or Java, then it's almost same idea. A static variable is something that can be shared among all of the objects. There could be scenarios where we would like something to be really shared among everyone in the class. For example, let's say the class has a printing function, and you would like how many times this printing function has been called by all of the objects that are created. Now we need something that is on a class level, not on the object level. And here the static variables comes. And when you change this variable in from using one object, every other object is affected with the change. So this is a big difference between them. To define a static variable, you define it here, or initialize it here, or assign it here on the class level. This is a static variable. There is no self here. It is outside the function. You write total equals 0. I have here a constructor, and the constructor with every object is constructed. It comes here and say employee.total employees plus equal 1. So now when you create the first employee, this static shared variable will be incremented. From here incremented, from here incremented. If you try to print the total employees variable, either using the object or the class itself, is going to show 3. Please make sure that you understand now how this variable is an attribute in the class. It is a class level, not an object level. And every change from any of these guys is making a change in this variable here. So that's what we mean by a static or a shared variable. Static variables are very nice as long as you use them carefully. Specifically, as long as you use the class itself to access and modify the static variable, there are no problems. But the problem comes when once you start to use the object itself to modify the static variables, issues might happen. And this would need us to be more careful about what is the difference between the instance, the object namespace, and the class namespace itself. And also might need to put some consideration for mutable and immutable objects when they are used as static variables. In a very similar way, if you have an attribute in your object that is the same name as the class level, so now you have two variables, the class level and the object level, and you give both of them the same name, so this also may create similar problems. Before the next session, I would like to make sure to understand today's topic and also take a few minutes to guess the behavior of the next two slides. You don't need to play with the code or Google them. Just give a read here. I'm here showing an example where I am playing with the total variables here and changing here, assigning it here. So give a check. And in a similar way, I'm trying to delete the attributes and seeing the effect. Read the two slides for a few minutes. Try to guess why the output is like that. And in the next video, we'll have a disciplined way to understand it. That's all.